Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, back at it again, my dumbass. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about Goosebumps HorrorLand, the video game from 2008. Not to be confused with the 90s video game that was on PC, I believe called Escape from Horrorland instead, which also took place in, well, you guessed it, HorrorLand. Big shocker, who would have guessed? Now, HorrorLand is a very iconic place in Goosebumps and setting in general. And there's a whole series based off it. I have it right down here. You can probably better to see it on camera, but yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's very iconic, and this came out during the hype of, well, this series of Goosebumps. And yeah, they released it alongside it. So, this game is quite a popular one in the community, and for good reason. I think this game is definitely one of the better Goosebumps games. There are some rough ones, I'll be honest. Dead of Night, what? Who said that? Anyways, I'm glad this one's as popular as it is. It's definitely one of the more talked about ones. Minus Dead of Night, that one is always talked about or brought up when it comes to Goosebumps games, it feels like. Or, you know, some of the newer ones. This is kind of in the middle, because, you know, it came out between the old Goosebumps games and the new Goosebumps games. So I'm very excited to talk about this game, because I know it means a lot to a lot of people. At least myself, because I really like this game. If that wasn't obvious. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the review. So what is this game about? Well, you and your friend, and I'm going to be very vague here not to spoil too much about the story, get free tickets to HorrorLand, and you go there. Of course, who wouldn't? You get there, and you start playing some rides and earning frights. Now, this is the game's core mechanic. You can dig up tokens for trash cans or find them and stuff, or even pick them up during rides. And, yeah, that allows you to play more rides. And as you play rides, you can earn frights, which are basically passes, and if you get enough, you can get into another area of the park. Or, you know, you can just look like you're cool to your friends if you have all free frights that you can earn from a ride. Now, as you progress through the game, you realize that HorrorLand isn't really what it seems, and that's about where I'm going to stop. Some of the small stuff, or, you know, some of the basic stuff about this game. There's 5 main zones: Terror Tombs, Mad Labs, Fever Swamp, Vampire Village, and Carnival Screams. That was in backwards order, but I don't care. All of them have unique soundtracks, settings, and rides that make sense for that area. They aren't exactly based off Goosebumps books, of course, but they have horror-related references. And, yeah, they're all very unique, and they have pretty awesome stuff to offer. Now, without talking about anything I like or dislike about this game, I'm just going to say it, like always in my book reviews. This game is fantastic. Now, it is not my favorite game by any means in the Goosebumps community, but it's still my second favorite, obviously, and is still what I believe to be the best Goosebumps game. Now, best and favorite are two different things in my opinion, because if you think something's the best, it doesn't mean you love it the most. It's just like, oh yeah, that one's the best one. But, is that the one you cherish most? Is that one you like the most? No, I don't think this is my favorite by any means. It is still very nostalgic. It holds a special place in my heart, but we aren't going to add nostalgia to the score. We're going to look at it for what it is. And of course, make it fair, because the time period, game graphics weren't fantastic, but they weren't as bad as this, but then again, the budget was probably low. This isn't my favorite game, but this is definitely one of the best Goosebumps games. So, looking at it from that perspective, let's get into what I loved and hated about this game. So, what did I love and hate about this game? Well, I'm going to be very vague on stuff, because when I re-record this video, this is like probably the 20th time recording this, I'm serious. Yeah, this segment ends up being 20 minutes long. It's actually fucking ridiculous. So, excuse me if I don't iterate on stuff as much as I want to. I just really can't edit this video as long as I need it to be currently. Or would like it to be. So, I'm going to be very vague. So, starting off with what I loved, I absolutely loved the rides. Most of the rides are fantastic. So, sure, we have the mediocre ones here and there, but we also have the fantastic ones that really shine, such as Bogtopus, or basically any boss fight or roller coaster related ride. Brain Drain is really fun, depending on what device you're playing on. It changes difficulty with some rides. Swamp Stomp, that one is really freaking hard on the Wii, but it's really easy on PlayStation too. Well, not easy, but definitely easier. Way easier. Same with Buzzwire and Snakes on a Chain. We also have Mummy Run, which is fantastic. Certain Death, I kind of mentioned it with the boss fight rides and roller coaster rides. That one is fantastic as well. We also have Putt Cemetery and Pharaoh's Fairway, both fantastic golf rides. I really liked them. And yeah, I could go on all day with great examples. There's so many great iconic rides in this game. It's hard to pick one as your favorite, if anything. And that is adding into my next upside, replayability. So not only do we have a whole bunch of really fun rides you can come back and play any day, we also have this mechanic called monster cards, which is basically something to come back to with the game and collect. There's 25, and they get harder and harder as the game goes on to get. And it's just really, really difficult to get them. You have to get gold in every ride for some of them. And then you have to, just beat the game in general. It's crazy how hard some of those can get, especially if you suck at a ride. And my next upside is the twist, and the story in general. So the story is well structured, so is the gameplay. I guess I'll add into that. I think it's very simple and easy to follow with the gameplay. It's nothing too complicated or weird or strange, or just like, sequence of events. No, it's basic. Just win enough fights and get into the next area, and then help Gigi find a piece of the ticket. Really simple. Now, the story is not exactly well structured, but it's definitely very, very fun. There's moments in the game that you get to turn into horror. Well, it's just one moment, but you get to turn into a horror. I will not iterate on that anymore. There are cutscenes in the game, which I find pretty cool, even if they don't look great. And yeah, it's just pretty nice story with a great twist at the end. I think the twist was kind of shocking, well, as a 5-year-old, but it's still pretty cool, and you can kind of see it coming if you're a bit older. Yeah, pretty nice twist, very dark as well. I won't iterate on that much further. Yeah, very, very nice. Another great thing about the game, which isn't a huge upside, but it still adds to it, and you might be hearing it right now, the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this game is fantastic. By no means do I say this game has one of the greatest soundtracks of any game I've ever played, or at least iconic. I remember these themes daily. I think about them when I'm up at night, just how good they are. It's just like, did Jack Lenz come in the studio that day and cook up a banger? Because it sounds like Jack Lenz came in the studio that day and cooked up a motherfucking banger. They're that good. Anyways, besides the soundtrack being good, I think that the game has funny voice acting for the horrors. I know, weird upside, but I think that adds to it. I know, weird. Very, very hilarious. Now, for the downsides, I don't really have many, and that's a very good thing. Now, I could go on all day about upsides, but I don't want to drag it on because there's just a whole bunch I love about the game, but those are the main highlights. Now, I don't really have any downsides, but on the top of my head, I will say this: there's something about replayability for the game. This game was obviously designed to be replayable, with the monster cards and the rides just being so good, okay? Now, here's the thing. Gigi. Collecting ticket pieces. That is unavoidable. You need to go grab Gigi and run back and forth, back and forth. It can get pretty annoying if you're trying to speedrun or, just play the game again. If you already know where the ticket pieces are, I literally have memorized them. One piece is behind an anchor, another piece is behind, inside of a smokestack, another piece is in a well, another piece is in some sort of tunnel area in Mad Labs, and another piece is in a ride in Terror Tunes. It's like, I don't want to do that shit again. It's not the, most high-tech thing. They can't get rid of that. It's just pretty, easy just to let it be there each time you play. But it's still kind of annoying, and it kind of ruins the replayability factor. And I just thought I'd bring it up because it does annoy me every time I replay the game. Because I know where they are. It kind of feels like it's dragging the runtime. But besides that, I'm not really going to affect the score of that, whatever score this game is going to get. It's not really a downside. It's just more of a nitpick about when you replay the game. And besides, if you look at it, the game for what it is, and if you only want to play it once, or you don't find any really replayability joyity, or at least for replaying the entire game, yeah, I don't think this would be an issue for a lot of people. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's move on to the rating. So for the rating of this game, I think it's pretty obvious. This game is going to get a whopping 10 out of 10. So, not only is this game absolutely fantastic, I don't think it is worthy of the absolute 10 out of 10 mark. I think it would be more like a 9.9 if we were going off like a completionist level scale, where, you know, we rank it by literal point anything, not just 0.5 like I do. But I don't think it's a perfect 10 out of 10, but it's a damn close one. So, yeah, that is all I have to say about the game. I don't really need to explain anything else. It's just a really, really fun time. Lots of great replayability factor, minus the GG stuff, but that's more of a nitpick. It's got a good story, funny voice acting for the horrors. I guess the main character's voice acting ain't the greatest, but it ain't the worst, I'll be honest. And, yeah, just a really, really fun game that I recommend you play, especially if you're a fan of HorrorLand. It's really interesting iteration of it. And yeah, it's going to conclude this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Tell me what you think of this game below. And tell me what you think of the old HorrorLand game, because one day I want to play that one, obviously. God willing, of course. If I ever get a PC that can play that game. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.